States, regionals, and nationals are right around the corner. Here are some tips on how to make the most of these experiences. Perfect your gymnastics in the gym, keep a positive attitude at practice, stay in contact with college coaches, post and share your routines on Instagram, say hello to any coaches you may see in the stands, stay calm, cool, and collected so that you can have your best competitions, and most importantly, have fun and enjoy competing. You've got this. We're cheering you on from Full Out Collegiate Recruiting.
It's March MATness. The closet was even darker this weekend. Holy moly. Is that a technical term? You get a 10. You get a 10. But an alum was a 10 on floor once again. And the MAC needs some changes. That and much more. Let's go.
It's a celebration, for there's a party going on right here. It's conference time, we've been waiting all year. So bring your sticks, and your Leos too. We're gonna celebrate some gymnastics with you. Celebrate MAC champs, come on. It's time to stream together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, log on. Celebrate Big Tens, come on. There's a podcast going on right now. It's a dedication to last throughout the year. So bring your headphones and your laughter too, because we're going to celebrate these champions with you. Celebrate gymnastics, come on.
Well, it is a celebration of a lot of gymnastics and more to come as we get into the postseason. But welcome back to the College Salute Podcast, the only podcast with a gymnastics-inspired rap every week. The place you go for all you need to know about how our Region 5 alums are doing during their NCAA careers. You know Kim. That's Aleena walking around her house. And of course, I'm Jason. And as usual, Championships weekend was exciting and energy draining all at one time. Is it hard to get a 10 in the postseason, Sam? Adam, I'm sorry, March MATness isn't new. John used that years ago. Riley McCuster is my MVP. Well, at least for this intro. And did you know gymnastics takes a lifetime to do? Well, Kim, that would be your dream. The gymnast would stay in college forever.
Yes.
And SUKI Pfister. But first, a free way to support our show is by leaving a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the College Salute Podcast. Tell us what you love about the show or what you'd like to see improved. The review helps others discover our podcast and join our Region 5 family. Help us to continue to grow our podcast, which is the only regionally based gymnastics podcast in the country. We continue to show our love for our alums throughout their college careers, so please show us some love with a review and a 5-star rating. Sorry about that. Well, we're going to start this week with the Fab Five, and this week is pretty much Kim. Kim has all of the Fab Fives because she, of course, is fabulous. And I know, number one, she is going to want to blow the speakers out, so let's just let her start right now. Number one, Kim, on our Fab Five list is...
Brooklyn freaking Moors. Oh my God. Okay, let's just take a moment, because this is one that if she's lifetime can stay in college, can just keep doing floor forever and ever and ever and ever some more. Her floor routine, like, okay, Olivia Karras, yes, just sit there in silence. And just sit there in silence and then say a few things later, because yes, this was the best floor routine of my life, and the photos I took were amazing. But oh my God, Brooklyn Moors, we will never have another like Brooklyn Moors ever in a million years. If you want your children to do a floor routine and have expression and faces and dramaticism, they need to watch Brooklyn Moors. And yes, Olivia Karras, this does live rent-free in my brain as well, because Brooklyn Moors.
We're going to talk about a social media video of her watching Brooklyn Morris do floor.
Oh, yeah.
And it is hilarious. I don't know if you
that
saw
one.
that on the Big Ten Gymnastics channel, but it is so funny.
I'd sent it to you today.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw that as well. So I watched that. Basically, I was watching Big Tens with the Big Ten Gymnastics thing open, and if they did anything or posted anything. So I got to see them all very quickly. But yeah. Corey, the hype man, again, all over the place. You saw him everywhere in those cameras, cheering. I can't remember which floor routine. I think it was Michaela Tucker when she finished her routine. He jumped about as high as the podium. The TikTok with Washington, that he starts dancing with that Washington gymnast. Now, at first it was cool, and then it seemed very awkward, and Corey couldn't get out of the TikTok. It was like, they're dancing, then he was like, how do I leave the TikTok? That was
exit.
That was hilarious. But that was funny. He was all over the place, and I know that
he was dancing up in the stands.
Yes,
he was. Oh God, it was so funny.
He loves that job, and all the power to him. He definitely does a good job, and I'm sure we'll see him at some regional around the country, and then we'll probably see him in NCAAs as well, just because that's just what he does. But awesome. Now I do have to say really quickly, and I'll add to this part of his right hand woman, in the sense, Olivia Karras. Remember their podcast? They have a podcast on the floor, but she got a lot of comments. We talk about Kim getting some comments about she should do some more commentating or whatever. The nation would like Olivia to do more national stuff versus Big Ten, and I agree. And I told John Roethlisberger, I talked to him yesterday about his whole their show. We're going to talk about the show, the ESPNU show yesterday, and him saying that the Paris athletes competed in 2014. That's fine, not 2024, but he agrees, and he really enjoys listening to Olivia. So hopefully we'll see Olivia, but we can't not have her in the Big Ten. She must stay in the Big Ten. She's awesome in the Big Ten. So I know you would like to talk about EMU. I have lots to say about this MAC championships, but we'll start with the EMU.
Wonderful.
EMU.
That's so wonderful.
Yes, Eagles. Yes.
But no, we're going to take a moment to speak on EMU, because everybody kept asking me, who do I think is going to win? Who do I think is going to win? And I would say, hey, I think this team could win, but I think EMU could silently do it. They could silently creep up higher than we are 5th in the MAC in the preseason poll, because they have been killing it this season and doing really well. So the fact that they were 2nd, I'm excited for big things from this team, because they literally they could have squeaked that out.
Yes, I mean the scoring in this meet was way too close as a whole. There was no separation in this competition, good, bad, or ugly. It was still the same score, and I have lots of comments, like I said, about that. Their floor was very good. They actually did very well on floor, and they got 49-1 or 49-2 or something like that on floor. They killed it on floor. I'm not really sure who had
a great time.
Yeah, who did the most? Yeah, had most energy on floor, them or Katie, because Katie was jumping. After they were done, her sprinting across the floor to cheer with her team inside the corral. That was hilarious too. But in the heels. But
I literally told her in the beginning, I said, I don't know when your heels are going to come off. And she's like, oh, no, not today. And then we just knew they were going to come off. We knew they were going to come off.
Even Cindy, I talked to Cindy yesterday at state meet, Sunday at state meet, and she was even super impressed with EMU. And because also Western is a big floor team, and they always go 49 something on floor, but she was blown away by EMU in their floor this year. So
yeah, no, they did a fantastic job all around. I mean, their gymnastics as a whole was very good on all events. It's like I said, there's just so much to the scoring in this competition, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Yes, let's all take a moment and recognize that Ball State SUKI Pfister is the MAC vault champion.
Finally, let's add, she's finally the MAC champion. This is 5 years in the making, mind you. We had her touted as the MAC champion for the last 4 years, and every time MACs would come and go, it's not happening. She didn't know, and so there was no talking about Bruno. She was going to win Big Tens, not MACs, and look what she did. The girl won MACs.
She did. It's sad that she's not moving on, but she came back to, I think, win MAC championships, and that was what she wanted to do. She didn't have enough scores, unfortunately, which sucks.
Well,
but
But that's
anyway,
okay. She won,
yes.
Max.
She did. She came back and did what she hadn't done. She's been to regionals. Yeah, we'd like to have seen her go to NCAAs.
What we wanted for her.
Correct. But MAC champion vault needed to happen, and there you go. It happened. It did. There were just too many of these. I mean, obviously there's some new ones that we've never seen, but you have loads of Leos on here, so you just go right ahead because I think you've put every team in the country that competed this weekend in this list. So
no,
this
I
is
did
how.
not.
Okay, close
It's
enough.
only
You're A through
M.
only, and most of the alphabet, but it's fine.
There's way more. Listen, a moment for these Leos, and let me tell you, Minnesota's Leo this weekend blew me away. Gorgeous, high neck, keyhole back, oh, beautiful. Eastern, okay, so they've worn this one before with the eagle wings, but I love this one. I'm glad they chose this one to wear at Max. I told Katie, I'm like, Katie, what one are you gonna wear? Do you have a new one? She said no. I go, eagle wings. I like that one, dude. That's a good one, and I'm so glad they wore that one.
Wait, can we talk about the Leo really quick? Anybody want to talk about it?
Sweet Pea, it's next on the list.
It's the very next one. Just
it's
read
literally
the list.
the very next one.
I'm so excited.
Yes, they brought back this Leo.
The one that sparkles, even though it's velvet. Oh my God, let me tell you, Aleena and I have a love for this leotard. It's the Kent State velvet wonder of the 90s. Like, keyhole back, velvet. Let's be real.
Adam saying bringing it back for the generation. I'm like, they wear this Leo every year, so they're not bringing this back. They're not bringing anything back.
He's like, well, it doesn't have the sparkles on it.
Correct.
Right. Great observation. And okay, but the royal blue crushed velvet. You can't until you witness it in person, which I know you guys have, but it is so beautiful. She just shines. Yeah. She does shine. I don't care.
That's what you said. Yeah, and her toes were pressed to perfection. But listen, let me tell you, they need to wear this all the time. I think every team should have a crushed velvet Leo with a high keyhole back neck. Like, Kent State, you're doing it right. And we love this for you and for us.
Please, in 2025, have a new Leo. Come up with something new because you have
2026
or 6. You have 2 Leos. Like, I think you have 2, maybe 3 that you wear.
They have 5.
Oh, right. They don't wear them. Okay, let's move on to this MSU Leo.
New velvet Leo.
This corset. How do you say it? Corset. What do you call the thing that you hold things in? What is that called? Corset? Not a corset. What's it called? Is it corset? Yeah, that's the Michigan State Leo.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was called Poison Ivy, by the way. That is its name, Poison Ivy, I believe. And it's beautiful. However, it kept confusing me because they have the cutouts on the shoulders. And I thought somebody was grabbing them the whole time. But I love the ties in the back. That was just sensational.
Yeah, some were a little long, though.
It photoed very nicely.
Yeah, no, but some of those ties were a little long. They dragged a little bit.
Well, they just had to tie them up better.
Well,
Brown had a great Leo. And I'm usually not a fan of the white, but they had a brownish bottom and some white on the top with, like, sparkles, angles. It was just pretty. Mm-hmm. Washington's Ode to the Jamie Dancher 1999 Nationals Leo, yes, or maybe the 2000 Nationals Leo, whatever, where she with the purple with the long sleeves. Yes, please, and thank you. Yes, I always liked that one, and I love that Washington's paying ode to it. Not sure why, but I love that. I love it. I think it's great. It's fresh. It's new. It's a take on an old.
Jamie deserves that.
She does.
And I don't know if anybody, especially like the younger generation, knows, but they should, and that's why they had that.
They should. But I love that it was Washington, but, also not like any school she went to. But purple, it works. I love it. UCLA, they just had a classic Leo. I just thought it was just so gorgeous, so beautiful. They had their navy blue with some yellow on the sparkles, but it was just classic UCLA. It wasn't one of their big outlandish ones it was classic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very, very, very like low key for them because they usually
was
crazy. They weren't low key on the floor though.
No.
That's for sure.
And then Maryland. We all know how I love a Maryland flag on a leotard. We all know my obsession with the Maryland flag. It's just the best flag ever and the best one to go on a leotard. And they did it right. They do it right every time. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love. Ball State and their their Ball State and their cardinal on the chest. Yes, please. Thank you. And yes.
I love when a mascot is put on a Leo.
Yeah, like
I
Penn
love
State
when a
does
mascot
that.
is put on a Leo in the correct way.
Yeah, like Penn State.
Good. It looks good.
I like a collegiate look with a with a really like pretty twist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I loved it. Mm-hmm. Boise State, they did an all blue Leo, but they had some mesh and they had orange in their jewel design. It was just very classic, very Boise State of them. My football field is blue and so is my leotard. So I enjoyed that. Denver bringing gold, some black and gold, kind of looking like an old Lindenwood Leo, but I am here for it. I enjoyed it. It was gorgeous. I kind of would like to get one. Pitt always has a great Leo. This one was kind of looked like Wakanda-ish, like the Shea Campbell Leo, but it was great. It had a nice little high neck, had a cutout triangle right here. It was great. Blacks had Pitt on the front. Awesome. San Jose State. They were very tribal in their Leo. There was no blue involved. It was black and yellow or black. It was great. And it was like tribally, very much enjoyed. Very in line with their Trojan-esque mascot.
Well, there you go.
And that is leotards A through M.
From championship weekend.
Because let me tell you, some people had white Leos and we're just not going to do that.
Yes.
I mean, was Utah's gorgeous on Grace McCallum? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Interested to see how many new Leos we see in regionals weekend.
Probably a ton.
See the new one. So we shall see. All right. Well, we'll get jumping into our R5 University, which is presented by Full Out Recruiting. And of course, as we've mentioned, and we mostly do every year, just because this is where most of the alums lie, our conference week would be Big Ten Championships, which Kim was there for the final session of the championships. And MAC Championships, which of course Aleena was there the entire time, commentating from the closet, which, by the way, was much darker than last week. When you came on live, I was like, do they own lights in this place?
Well, you know what, though? When she FaceTimed me, it was very bright up there.
Not when they came on live. So the lighting was not good.
Well, they had to turn the lighting down so they couldn't see Adam cry.
Well, we didn't see you guys very much after that. We just, at the beginning, they didn't show you guys too much. But beginning, you were dark as heck. You were literally in a darker closet, like they moved you to something else, even darker. I don't know. But
yeah, could you see me?
Oh, we could see you, but it was
that closet.
It was very dark. Don't really know. Anyway. All right, so let's move into vaulting and Sage Kellerman, another huge pike half. She did take a hop back, unfortunately, but it was a big vault, 995 for Michigan State, leading us off here for vault, another great vault. And then we've already talked about, of course, SUKI Pfister. 9-9 was one of the first of the competition. There would be a few more, which actually ended up surprising me based on how they were judging. But then again, it shouldn't have surprised me. We'll, like I said, get to that. But SUKI 9-9 on vault. Beautiful pike half on vault, as Sage Kellerman does. Small hop back too, but beautiful thing, gorgeous, and a great way to end her career with that MAC championship 9-9. Michaela Tucker, very nice Yurchenko, 1.5, slight hop forward, but it was a very nice vault, very clean. Michigan State vaulted very, very well, as they always do. Nikki Smith, 9-9, a little bit more of a hop than Tucker, so I was kind of surprised on the score, as she had the same score, 9-9, but it is what it is. I felt her hop was a little more jump than Tucker's was, but it is what it is. And then Natalie Martin in session 1 of Big Ten's 9.875. Slight step to the side. She actually was to the side a little bit, but very clean. It did look a little lower than she has in the past, but definitely a nice vault, and a 9.875 to make our lineup. 49.525 for us on vault. I would like to mention Mila Bruch, though. She is the Big 12 co-champion. I think there was 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken. But she's the vault champion, 9-9 on her vault. It is a very nice Yurchenko full, and that will be up on our Instagram at some point, probably already. By the time you listen to the podcast, it's probably already up. Make sure you check that out. Awesome job, Mila. Congratulations. All right, move over to bars and another 995 for Sage Kellerman. Effortless, but fire. This routine was awesome. A double layout that's a piece of beauty, and the stick was gorgeous. I mean, this routine was awesome. I'm just amazed. I keep saying it over and over and over again. Sage bars is just I don't think that Mike recruited Sage to be a bar worker, and she's turned out to be one of the best Michigan State has. I mean, it's just phenomenal. She does a great job. Nikki Smith, another bar routine that is very similar to what she does. Hit nice handstands in this routine. A nice double layout with a small little scoot in the landing. Not too bad. That was probably the 9-9 because there was no form issues. Handstands were nice, so that was a very good routine for Michigan State. Gabby, Stephen, another 9-9 as well for her. Another great routine again. I love watching Gabby on bars. I always do. Her flow is so nice in the way she swings, and because she's so tall, it just looks so good. Tori Vetter, huge Tkachev, but she always is huge on her Tkachev, and a very nice landing. I'm not really sure what they took on hers. Again, she may have been short on a handstand because if I'm not mistaken, she stuck her double layout. But I'm not 100% sure what the 10th came from. I can't remember now, but 9-9 on bars. But Tkachev was enormous. I think she touched the big, huge thing in Chrysler Center. That's how big it was. It was great. And the bar routine of the day for me, Ava Jordan. I mean, handstand after handstand, Jaeger, beautiful cast handstand out of it. Bale locked out the handstand. Blindfold double back, stuck, and I think it's the first time she stuck a double tuck all season long. I can't remember the last time Ava stuck her double back. She takes steps forward, she takes steps back, rocked that set. Best set of the year, I think, for her. 9-9, beautiful bar routine. Absolutely gorgeous. Great job for her. 49.55.
She stuck it at the last. I think she stuck it at the last meet.
Maybe she did, but I know she's been taking steps like backward. I know one meet she took 2 steps off the mat, so I'm not sure when that was. But need to mention Ashley Szymanski, the MAC champion on bars, 9.875. Thank you, Aleena, for making sure they showed that routine from start to finish. Actually, we did see her dismount blindfold double back, and then we got to go back and watch the whole routine. Thank you so much, because we have to watch Ashley, of course. Beautiful bar routine, as usual, 9.875. Avery Balzer, 9.875. New routine. Surprised the heck out of me. She used a blind Jaeger. She now kip hops into a Jaeger. I don't know why that changed this year in her final year, but she nailed the hell out of this routine. And she gets to go to regionals because Rutgers gets to go to regionals, which is all exciting, and she gets to compete again. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, a new bar routine. I was not expecting that. I mean, she was starting outside of the bars, and I was like, wow, they changed the routine. She went kip hop Jaeger. So wanted to mention that. Awesome for Avery. Good to see her out there again this year. And then Sarah Wabi is the ISU champion. She's from ISU. She's the Mick Bars champion with a 9.875 as well. I have not gotten this routine yet. When I get it, it will be posted on our Instagram. So check that one out as well. But Sarah Wabi, another great bar worker, as she is also awesome on floor as well. And I believe I said 49.55 before I mentioned those. So that's our score. Gabby, Stephen, one of the many perfect 10s of the championship weekend. At first glance, very nice. Kim, don't post any pictures, unfortunately, of Gabby.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm being...
Well, not with the...
Yes, she won't be posting some of the back handsprings. Gabby, we need to fix that before regionals. You don't see that in the competition. I didn't see it. You don't see it in the She Moves Too Fast. And the funny thing is, I sent it to Jess, and Jess says, wow, you do not see that when you watch the routine. And I said, no, she disguises it well. But Kim showed me the pictures, and I was like, ooh. But awesome, solid routine for Gabby. It was great. Loved it. A double full stuck cold. It was good and great to see her reactions when the 10 came up and all that. But yeah, so a little tighter knees on back handsprings, maybe going into regionals. Katie Duplessis, 9.925. Gorgeous routine. So solid. Back handspring layout, step out, perfect. Stuck 1.5, rocked. At the same time, AJ stuck her double back, which was cool. That was so cool. And it happened quite often in the final session where Region 5 athletes were going back-to-back. I know that Michaela Tucker and JC Vore were up at the same time, floor and beam, and that's kind of funny, both Indiana level 10. So that was awesome too.
Yeah, it was funny. So funny.
Kim doesn't like it.
Having to take pictures and then shoot across the
two cameras.
No,
two cameras.
Where I was standing in one of my tiny boxes next on top of the floor judge, I was able to go back and forth.
Okay.
I wish I had Lloyd. I wish I had Lloyd's camera lens, but that is too expensive for my life. So we got what we got.
Yes, there you go. The club teammates might have won and tied for, I believe, the Beam Big Ten title had Gabby not gotten a 10. Sarah went 9.925 on Beam, Sarah Moreau from Minnesota. And this was also a very solid routine. She was the Big Ten defending champion on balance beam. Another 9.925, but it's funny that Katie and Sarah, both from the same club, tied with the same score, and both very solid beam routines. Sarah's gainer full, stuck, cold was gorgeous. Skyla, 9.9, leads off for MSU now. Very interesting going into championship time that she's leading off beam, but a very solid routine, solid stuck gainer full dismount. She was excited about that and leads off Michigan State with a 9.9. So obviously a good choice. JC Vore, another solid beam routine. She's been so solid the last few weeks. Hopefully that will continue at regionals, and Michigan can, unfortunately, Michigan can't return the favor because they're not in the same session, but they are in the same meet. Penn State. They're not in the same session, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Later down the thing. We'll get to that later. But JC Vore 9875, super solid, and Jojo Varga also very solid. I love how Jojo takes her time and literally makes sure you see everything. Very, very reminiscent of Ilka from Iowa. Not quite the facial expressions that Ilka does, but the same type of thing. She takes her time and everything is smooth, and then she just goes nuts after she stuck her dismount and was all excited and high-fiving everybody and just jumping and almost falling off the podium like they always do for another 9.875. And she went back to her mount change where she faces one direction and aggressively changes and turns around. She had taken that out for a little bit, but she's back doing that, and others love that. It's so cool. So keep doing that. Anyway, Jojo Varga and JC Vore 9875 for a 49.625. Huge beam score. But two I need to mention. Faith Torres is the SEC beam champion with an arm swing. Aerial, layout, step out, arm swing. And she won beam. So interesting. Beam was kind of shaky for many. Missouri had a very rough time on balance beam to start the competition. But Helen Hugh, of course, did a good job, but she wobbled a couple times. So Gigi Singh. We need to talk about Gigi Singh. Even though she vaulted.
She did a lot at this meet.
Yes, she vaulted. And I didn't see it. But she did it, apparently, according to the screen, Gigi Singh. But 9.825 on beam. This was awesome, and I'm happy because Western was in the thick of it, and they had to go to beam, and they had to hit. And Gigi hit. Like, for the best beam routine I think she's done this year. Super solid triple flight. Very nice. I think she had a couple wobbles here. I think she did hop on her dismount, if I'm not mistaken, jump forward. But 9.825, great job. Awesome. As a senior to go out there and do that final beam routine. I'm not sure if she's going to try to come back or not. I've not heard anything or whatever, but because she didn't compete much in the beginning of her career. So, who knows if she'll be back or not, but 9.825, so cool to see. And we definitely wanted to mention that. And then moving on over to floor, Skyla Schulte. When does Skyla not perform floor? She was getting into the crowd, and the funny thing is, if you're watching the routine, but you look back in the crowd and you watch Iowa and you watch I think it's Washington, I can't remember who was sitting directly behind her in the little stands back there. They were getting into a routine and following and doing the exact movements she was. It was so awesome. Rocked her front through to double tuck. Perfect. Awesome. Great. 9.975, just short of a 10. I'm surprised they didn't throw a 10 because it was championship time and everyone got a 10. So awesome. Great floor routine as usual. Nikki, same idea. Glue on carpet, however.
Glue on
carpet. Yes. Her full in, boom.
Okay.
Her front double back, boom. Both passes stuck. Great performance. Loved watching it. 9.925 for her. Michigan State also did very well on floor, as pretty much did on every event, but killed it on floor as well. Gabby 9925, beautiful front through to Rudy. I think, like I said, this is a great change. It looks so nice. It's clean and it looks good on a taller athlete. It's a great combination. It is a little hard to do. It's easier to front step out round off than it is to front handspring front step out front handspring and get enough power to do something out of it. And so that is definitely impressive. Yeah, Gabby 9925. Haley Tyson 99 on floor. This athlete has done everything this year for Iowa. I mean, beam. She was good on beam. She hit was kind of. I think she got a 9.8 on beam, a little shaky. But her Rudy layout step out on floor was gorgeous, huge, very nice. 9.9 on floor, very nice front double full last pass. It was so awesome to see that she gets a 9.9, and just to see her in our lineup, with a group of athletes that are amongst all of our alums is awesome to see. And then a trio of 9.9s from Alyssa Guns on floor, Ellie Buffet from Michigan State on floor, and Tori Vetter on floor. All super floor performers, all very different in the way they do floor. Alyssa Guns and Tori are a little bit similar. They have the same passes but opposite. But all have just a kind of a different style and what have you. We'll get to see Alyssa one more time, thank God. But it's awesome, both. I thought maybe she was a little bit, she wasn't necessarily underscored, but I do have some comments about the way the floor was scored at Max, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But great routine, all three of them, beautiful
She
routines.
also tied for second.
And she was second, yes. She was second on floor. Yeah. And I did find that, thanks for mentioning that, I thought they went out farther before. Why did they only do 3 this year? Because I know they've gone out 5. Because I remember Peyton finished 5th once, and she was up there once. So on something.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, they usually went out 5 or 6, and I remember they did that when NIU hosted Max. They had the podium was much larger, and I was interested to see that they only went out 3.
It was interesting, and there was so many ties too. If you noticed.
Oh no. That's that's part of the conversation.
I'm
no
sure
separation.
We'll come into your comments on scoring as well.
Yes, no separation in this competition at all. Faith Torres, 49.625 is our floor score, which is awesome. Faith Torres, congratulations, the SEC floor champion with a 10.0. Her second 10 of the year on floor. And it was the same typical. She did stick her front to double tuck. Double layout was a controlled step, but she did step back. But same type of performance. And then Kiera O'Shea, I wanted to mention this one because it was a very good routine, and I thought it was a little bit underscored based on what would happen later. In the floor lineup, I thought hers, with the difficulty that she had, was underscored. Her full in was really nice. Her front 1.5 front full was very, very nice. Now, you did say she's a twister. Twisters are usually people who only twist, but she does do flips. She does a full in. But I get it because she does twist.
She is a great twister, though.
She is a great twister. But twisters are usually, they don't flip. They don't know how to.
Maybe
They're
you
twisters.
Would say her
they don't know how to.
Are silky smooth.
Yes, there you go. They're silky smooth. But anyway, Kiera O'Shea, I wanted to mention 9.85, too low. Score was too low. I felt that your difficulty in the way you performed that routine was not, especially on a couple others that I felt were scored better than you because they were later in lineups, and we'll get to there. But again, 49.625, 198.325. Our highest score of the season. Unfortunately, we got to throw it out. But it did allow us to count another 197, so we have a 197.37. We are 8th ahead of Michigan State, which sends us to Happy Valley. We will go to Penn State. Region 5 University will head to Penn State for a regional weekend. So that will be our regional. We can count, and we'll get to we'll go back to how we use our regional scores again in our regional preview. But we head to Penn State for regionals. The Region 5U will be there. So looking forward to that. Let's move on to some social salutes. We've got quite a few. And Jordan's mom and dad during her floor routine. I loved that the Big Ten Gymnastics IG page did this. I love how her dad, before she even starts, they got a 198. They got a 198 because they'd already before even her daughter starts. And then they get into her routine. She's going through her routine and all that. And just to watch her do her routine and watch her parents, it was great. It was.
Oh, her mom was doing the whole thing with her.
Yeah, I know. It was so much fun. It's just how they did that. It was great. And I don't know if they, clearly they thought about this before because they had to mic her and all that kind of stuff and have a camera on them. But just to do that in the way she performed and all, it's fun. If any of you noticed that Jordan did take out her dive roll and she changed to that half-turn stomach drop thing right before she goes to her last pass. Interesting, but, when you have, your tailbone injury or whatever it may be.
Hey, riding scooters are hard.
Yes, we've already talked about that last week. But that Jordan's mom and dad TikTok was great. So is Cecile's doing TikToks. Cecile doing TikToks with the Georgia guy,
it was
with Georgia
awesome.
kids. Awesome. And it's fun. And you can tell Georgia has really changed their mindset and just changed everything. It's, I'm looking forward to them. I like to see them go far in this regional contest because I think they do have a lot of good gymnastics there, in a decently tough regional. So it will be, interesting, but I love watching. I've loved watching Georgia this year, and to see Cecile get out there in TikToks was awesome.
It's probably because Kim TikTok last week.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with that.
I'm just saying. I just want to throw that in there that she is a trendsetter. So sometimes that happens.
There you go. Awesome. The gymnast game of the guy who dismounts off the thing with the Big Ten. Jenna, Gabby, Lily. Thank God. I mean, like they were crazy. They were on there. Thank God AJ landed better on her dismount than her little gymnast did, because once on her head and the other one flew off onto her back. So thank God she was able to stick her landing. But Jenna, Gabby, and Lily were hilarious. Jenna's, I think, flew off and bounced off the podium a little bit, and then Gabby. I mean, they had a lot of fun doing that, and it was fun to see. To see what I was when it came on, to see what alums get to do it and all that stuff. So it was fun, but that was a cool game. I mean, I think they did that last year too, or someone else did that. SEC did that, or someone did it.
Yeah, they do it all over.
Yes, but I thought it was fun, just fun to watch. NCAA hosts the first selection show, the first true selection show, on ESPN with actual people who know gymnastics, not on NCAA.com with every name spelled wrong and who knows what's going on, and you watch it 2 days later after it's been recorded. And this was awesome because college women's gymnastics is very much like NCAA basketball or NCAA football. I mean, it's the same hype, it's the same intention. People watch it. They should have a show. And Sam and John did a phenomenal job. I think they did great. Olivia Karras, intense eyes, watching The Matrix time. This would be Brooklyn Moore's floor routine, where she watches Brooklyn Moore's, and Dean goes, "It's Matrix time." And Brooklyn goes, "Round off, lay out, step out, so slow, step down."
I have that in photos, and let me tell you, it's so high.
Yes. It is high. It is awesome. And to watch obviously watch Olivia, watch her do floor, because she's wanted a 10, I think, as much as Brooklyn, and everyone else has wanted Brooklyn to get a 10. And that was fun to watch. Just her eyes, though. She was looking down to things, but then she's very attentive. She was like this. And then when he says, "It's Matrix time," I love that part. That was fun.
It's just a good thing I was watching that routine through my camera eye and not my real eyes.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't watch the pre-show question and answer from training day?
I did not.
What is wrong with you, social media man?
I did not.
No, I just love that how she goes with the little microphone and asks questions and stuff. And so this question today was Velcro grips or buckle grips. And it was just amazing to see how many people were double buckle. Most are double buckle. Some are, a couple were single buckle. And then you had a limited few that were Velcro.
Yeah, Velcro's gone away. Velcro's gone away. All our kids have to wear buckle.
Jordan Childs she's a Velcro. Aleena, what are you? What were you?
I am forever going to be a double buckle Rise Sport girl. 100%. I don't know. That's just how it goes.
Jason, did they have double buckles when you were?
I was a Velcro athlete, but I mandate buckle. They must all buckle because I don't want all of this redoing of stuff and the buckle stay in. I do like the buckle and the guy grips that are buckle and Velcro. Those are cool, where there's the top is a buckle and the bottom's Velcro. A lot of guys use that. But yes, no, buckle for sure. And if I was going to buckle, I would do double because one doesn't really do anything. Two, you need two to support that. So one is about the same as Velcro. It just doesn't, slide as easier, but it does get loose.
So I was a Velcro girl all the way from itty bitty up until my 20s.
Yeah.
And my grips actually hang next to the bars here at the gym, just in case I want to put them on and rub the bar. However, I gave myself impetigo because I had Velcro grips. I itched my face with the Velcro. And
geez.
Raven gave me impetigo because she had it all over and we used to share a room. And then I gave it to our owner, Scott, his daughter, Chloe. So it was just an impetigo fest because of the Velcro grips. My kids on the other, I wanted to try double buckle. I always did, but I never jumped over that edge and tried the double buckle because I'm like, what if I don't like them?
And then the Stanford tree worship.
Oh my God. I sent this to you. You probably didn't watch it, of course.
Probably not.
They have this tree with a face and it's in the corner. And the girls are kneeling down, holding sticks up like this, going, you just have to believe. And their eyes are closed. They're having a little tree seance. And one of the girls is like, is this gonna? And the other one goes, shh, be quiet. Just believe. We have to believe. It was hilarious. Go back and watch it.
I'll have to go back and watch it. But wow, I mean, Stanford. I mean, I'm amazed at what they have done the last couple years at the end of the season, and it's that's what they do. They just wait. They wait until the end of the year to have their best meets and knock people out and stuff. But
the snakes in the grass. They're just MSU this year.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but look forward to seeing what happens with obviously Stanford as they move on to regionals because wow, come into the ACC and win the ACC in your first year. It's crazy. I wish I could have seen that meet. I have nothing from that meet that I could tell you because I did not watch it. I have it taped, so maybe I'll get some chance to watch it.
You have it taped?
Well,
you have it on VHS?
I have it on VHS. I'm a big camera, but no, I have it DVR'd, and I just haven't yet to watch it. So, but I do know they won. I know they won. So, go Stanford. We'll see you at regionals.
Well, clearly the tree seance helped.
It did. And I'm sure Cal was not expecting that. Well, maybe they were because they see them a lot. So they probably knew, too, that Stanford will come on. So, all right, we go behind the scenes, and we meaning these two were at two different meets this weekend, and we'll start with Big Tens. Yes, it is,
yes.
But it is.
Michigan is too small for a podium. Listen, I don't know if it's because the last two Big Tens I went to at MSU and Iowa, were bigger and there was more space to maneuver. But Chrysler is too small for a podium. Michigan, you tried, you did great. They are too small for a podium. They're just too small.
That
arena
tight.
is tiny.
Yeah, it is tight in there.
Never shall we put a podium in there again, please.
Well, they will in a week. Well, it's probably going to stay there. I'm sure it didn't come down.
It's probably going to stay there. We're not tearing that down. But I don't know how are they going to put all the men's events up on those podiums because there is no room.
Yeah, no, it fits. That's why it's designed the way it is.
That's why it's designed funky.
Yes,
but yes, I understand. Yes. But oh my God, never again.
Yeah, well, then they won't be hosting.
I know.
Big
I'm
Tens
just saying,
again.
It's too small. They need to maneuver it in a different way or something. It was just very small, very tight.
Yes, for sure. A-Rod made an appearance in Chrysler.
Oh my God, listen. Why were you there, A-Rod? What were you doing? You are from New York. You play for New York. Or you did. You're retired. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? But listen, I'm sitting and talking to Mari, who is the floor manager, and I'm like, looking at this man who is tall, drink of gorgeous water man. He's on the floor taking photos with all the UCLA girls. I'm like, who is that? Who is that? I'm like, he looks super familiar, but who is that? that is a man of money and class and athletic stature. Look at him. And then he walked out of that side tunnel entrance, that's like across from the main, tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm like, with a person. I'm like, who are you? And then I got on the social medias and it said A-Rod. I'm like, no effing way. Like, I knew that I knew he was somebody. He was handsome, good looking, tall. I could smell money. I just like felt the aura of like, you are someone. It was someone. It was Alex freaking Rodriguez. But my question is, what are you doing here, A-Rod? Why are you at Chrysler? You didn't go to U of M. You're not from Michigan. What is your tie to UCLA?
Did he play at UCLA?
Did you just come to see Jordan?
Maybe he played baseball at UCLA.
I don't think he went to college.
Oh, maybe he did. Or maybe he did for a semester, a year, or whatever, played 1 year or whatever.
I don't know.
Or maybe he knows Jordan Childs because, everyone does. And he came to watch Jordan Childs. That's what I just said.
Maybe he just like is made friends with Jordan. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many questions. I have another song to sing. Tiny boxes on the floor. Tiny boxes. Ain't they small? Because our damn freaking boxes were so small.
Wow, that was a voice crack there.
These boxes were smaller than that awkward boxes we had last time at regionals, where there was like the long jump box landing in the sand of the box, and then another box and a box and a box.
Yeah, just keep hopping around. Yep.
Okay, so beam box, you were semi-okay, but you were very small. This was like, it was long and small. And then, there was another beam box, but it would have been it's an okay shot for beam. But then if you're like, I want to do floor at the same time, you can't, because there's a scoring screen right there in your face. And unless you're 6 feet tall, you're not shooting over it. And then there was a bar box, and you know where the bar box was? Take a guess. At the low bar.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Who puts the bar box at the low bar? You dismounts, hello.
Yeah, put it behind. You want
so
to get the
you
faces.
Had to turn around in the one corner floor box that was acceptable. You had to turn around and hope that you could shoot over the vault corral. Okay, that was also the only place you could shoot vault from, except there was a tiny box way on the other side of the vault landing mat in the corner. But to get back there, you had to you couldn't just directly go that way. You had to go all the way around, weasel behind, weasel through. It was like a maze.
Mm-hmm.
It produced a good photo for the person who took a photo back there, but it was a maze. Then the box next to the floor, the tiny box that you were pretty much on top of the judge. Like, I could literally have told you what exactly he was writing for every single person and still be able to take the photo because that was how close we were. I could smell his cologne. I knew exactly what he had for lunch. Well, then there was a mat. You know how they pull the mat off the side and it sits on the podium? The judge goes, can you move that mat back? Okay, if you move that mat back, you cover up our entire tiny box. So you can't move the mat back. So after a while, we pulled it this way, and I literally put a knee into it so I could shoot floor. And then I had to kneel down at one point. And Lloyd was shooting it behind my ponytail, But oh my God, the tiny boxes.
Well, the MAC does need to use a podium. I do know that obviously Al at Western does have one since they host a meet on a podium. I'm not 100% sure why the MAC just doesn't all get together.
It has to be voted on.
Well, I know this, but what I'm saying is why they don't just get together and vote, because the people in the stands are not Central Michigan. They're from every state, every school. That's pretty much who comes to watch. So put it in Kellogg Arena. Just have Kellogg Arena be the MAC championship venue. Podiums fit nicely in there. There you go. It's a nice venue.
Podiums fit nicely in there,
SEC doesn't do it. The Big 12 doesn't do it on college campuses. The Big 10 does. But, just put it on podium. It's very easy. Al has it done. Have it in Kellogg Arena. There are a couple other arenas around the area that you could do, and you could change it up if you needed to. That arena in Fort Wayne, they could do it in there. But yes, they need to be on podium. They just need to.
Yes, they do. But you also have to vote on it, just like you have to vote on why we don't have 2 sessions for Max.
Well, they should do 4 and 3.
Which would have been ideal.
They should do 4 and 3.
4 and 3.
They should do 4 and 3. Yeah. No, that's how it should.
If the AAC, we'll get there. If the AAC can do 2 teams and then the rest.
No, that's what they should do. They should do 3 and 4 and just do it that way. You know, it is what it is.
We'll get down to that.
Yes. Some highlights from the competition. Olivia Zamarny from Michigan State. Her Yurchenko 1.5 stuck cold, beautiful, gorgeous vault. Loved it. Vault of Olivia Kapala. That's the best Yurchenko full I've ever seen her do. Ever. We get to see Olivia again in the coming weeks as well, as Illinois has moved on. Haley Merchant from Maryland, huge ray overshoot and a stuck layout full out on bars. Gorgeous. Beautiful bar routine. Rutgers freshman Delaney Adrian, very nice Tkachev pack. That was awesome. You get the feel I just watched vault and bars here, but
that's what I'm thinking.
I got a beam coming up. Shout out to Cassie Barbanente competing in her final conference meet at my alma mater. That was awesome. And then Kim getting a photo, of course. Got to get the photo.
Because I was looking for her, and then all of a sudden she was right there, coming down the stairs.
Yep.
Like Cassie.
There you go. Ilka Juke from Iowa. Please make sure the judges see every part of this routine. Okay, check. Stopped, looked. You're going to see that. Standing full. The standing full twisting back handspring was so good. I think one of the best routines she's done all year. It was awesome. Beautiful. Sienna Alipio, her flight, her face. Her fierceness, her face. Her gainer full, her face. 10. That's basically the order of how that all happened.
And ironically, I missed that.
Yeah, it was a great routine. I mean, it was a good routine. I mean, I didn't watch it again to go back and see if there was any issue for 10. It was super solid, and it was a 10.
Sorry, I don't have photos of that. I have photos of her warm up, but she was going when somebody from Region 5 was going, and I had to prioritize.
Yeah, it was so good. It was awesome. But awesome job. And I just liked how everything had a face and a stop and a face, and it was great. And then Ranger's front layout step out to double tuck, perfectly stuck landing, no movement, nothing, not even an adjustment. She just stopped and was like, arms up, and that was it. That was awesome.
Also, Caitlin Rosen on everything. Everything. Like, again, if you want your athletes to have faces and emotions, you watch her floor. Just watch her floor. It's so good.
All right, MAC championships. This took me a little while to watch completely all the way through. I did have to go back and start over again because I just needed to. Aleena, very good job. I know it was difficult. I know there's a lot of things that went on behind the scenes. I mean, we could probably talk forever. If you want to give us some highlights or lowlights, you're more than welcome to. But, we could be here until, tomorrow talking about some of the things we know behind the scenes happened. But I first just have to say bars, beam, and floor got one memo. Sorry, bars, beam, and vault got one memo. Floor got another. And what I mean by that is they were hard as nails on bars, beam, and vault. They were it was hard to get a very good score. You had to literally rock a routine. 9.6 and 9.7s were very regular scores at the MAC championships.
It was a 9.7 party.
Correct. 9.8s were very solid routines. You got a 9.9. On an event, that was a very good routine, except if you were over on floor. And I have lots of issues with floor, and we're going to talk about a few floor routines. The consistency on how they judged floor was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I said 9.9 at one point. I said, might as well call it a 10.
Yeah, floor was ridiculous and how they judged floor. And we're going to get to that in a minute because I have discussions. But just bars, beam, and vault, the judges were really strict, really tight, and it's fine. But the fact is floor was so wide open and it was so crazy. Now, bars, beam, and vault, the separation in good, medium, okay, good, and great, nothing. There was no separation. It was very, very close, very, very tight in there.
We knew the whole weekend would be tight.
Right. There were a lot of ties. Yeah, a lot of ties, not a lot of separation. But the MAC needs to change. And I'm going to say this, and I hope people hear it in the MAC conference. You need to change your judging because you have absolutely no teams in regionals, and that's because they can't get scores, and most of the MAC teams compete against MAC teams every single weekend. And so they are competing with the same type of judging every single weekend. They're going 194 and 195, and they're many times doing some very good gymnastics, and that's not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. So if you want teams in regionals, I'm not saying you need to go start throwing 10-10s in a competition, but it's sad that there is not a single MAC team in the the NCAA regional championships. Not a single one.
This is like one of the first times there's
not a single team. Central makes it right. Central makes it all the time. Kent State makes it all the time. Ball State makes it. I'm not saying all the time, but they make them. Okay.
Yes.
Not a single MAC school.
And they deserve
and it's
it.
not, and it's not right. It's not right. It's just not fair to the athletes that compete in the MAC conference and the gymnastics that they do. That not one team gets to move on. It's not fair. And it's
Kim
apparent.
And I try so hard to, and you as well.
Mm-hmm.
The three of us, we try so hard to highlight these athletes and their talent, and that's really one of the reasons that I said that I would do this, was to be a voice for them. And I really feel like, we always just try to just make them, give them their flowers is what I always say. But it's just sad because you've got teams like Central and Kent, and like you said, like we've got several teams in the MAC who compete against different conferences and oftentimes win. And then we get to a point where I'm looking at my bracket last night, and it's always fun to do brackets and everything, and no shame, because West Virginia has amazing talent too. They've got Sophia Rice, they've got all these wonderful athletes. But in the beginning of the season, the first meet that I commentated was West Virginia Central, and Central won, and that was, obviously it's just not accounted for, and I wish it was, because it's not fair. Like you're just so right.
No, they go against teams, and they'll go to like other parts of the country, and they'll get their highest score of the year because the scoring is higher. And like I said, I'm not saying that MAC should start scoring 995s in everyone in their team and then going 49-6 every single event. But what I'm saying is they go to other meets, they get a high score, and then they go to their RQS, and that score is flipped out because it's 2 points higher than what they normally get. So it doesn't help them at all because it's out the door. And so they can't use it. And then they have the 195.2 and the 195.4 and the 194.7 and and all those. And then they get together and they win, MAX, or they do well at MAX, and they're like 56th in the country. You're not making regionals. And that's sad.
Right. And like there's people like, let's call out Samantha Shannon, Jersey. I know you guys don't even flinch when I say that her real name, but Jersey. If you're just gonna pick out like one example, look at bars.
Oh yeah, her 985 that should have been higher.
And 100%. I just am like, what is going on?
100%. It should have been higher. It was perfect. It was beautiful double layout, stuck cold. The legs were together, double layout. It was a beautiful routine. But that's one of the things. But then floor is also where they start to raise the scoring, and then they're not fair. So that's also another problem too. But regardless, it's sad, and there needs to be a change in the MAC on how they judge. They just do. It just has to happen. But anyway, we'll move on. Sorry to hear that no MAC teams are moving on, which is sad. Holy moly. So is that a technical term? Yes, this is for Jersey's bars. We just talked about it. Absolutely beautiful Jaeger stuck double layout. She goes, holy moly. I was like,
what routine did you, there was somebody's bar routine that you go, goodness gracious.
That actually could have been that one too.
I think it was Jersey's, but you're so very wholesome.
You can imagine, because you know how I feel about her and her just growth and just how amazing she is. And so for that routine, I was just going nuts. So I don't know what I said. I'm going to be very honest, but yeah, technically.
It was one of the two wholesome terms.
Yes.
Because I've literally said holy shit almost on a broadcast. Somebody vaulted in front of us, and I was like, holy words. Because my instant is a swear word, because that's just who I am.
Yes. No. But yeah, no, holy moly. I loved it. Lindsay Gerard's floor, best of the year by far. Absolutely beautiful floor. Aaliyah, full in is back. One meet, full in is back. Thank you, Aaliyah, for giving us the full in again for your last meet of the year because,
I was
of course.
gonna say, Aleena, Adam added some context to the Lindsay Gerard floor routine and let us know it was Back in Black by AC/DC,
yes.
not just AC/DC, as you said. So he did
help. There you go.
He helped.
That was good.
But yes, no, but awesome full in for Leah. It was over rotated, but glad to see it back in the floor lineup or in the floor routine. Faye Dubin from Bowling Green, 2 back handsprings layout, so super solid. Awesome. I loved it. Bowling Green had a day. They were some struggles there, but that was so good. And I wanted to point that out because that was something that stuck out in their performance as really, really good. I
definitely want to know that there are glimmers.
Yes. They had some, they had
so many glimmers. I know it's such a weird term. Yeah. Maybe it's technical. I don't know, but there were some things that should have been highlighted because, obviously even with falls, there's still things to celebrate. So I don't know. There's great gymnastics all over the MAC. I mean, we've seen it. And I mean, I watched it all in my face at the same time, no separate sessions.
Exactly. You got to see it all. Got to see it all at once.
Literally. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about EMU floor, and I do need to give Abby Brushwood some props. Compared to some of the routines we saw at the end of the competition, speaking of CMU, Central Michigan, which I felt was not held to the same standard as everybody else when it comes to floor, unfortunately. Abby Brushwood went 9.9, and I think she could have been about a 9.925. I felt her routine was very comparable. Actually, it was actually better than Reed's floor routine. Reed's floor routine doesn't have very much difficulty at all and went 9.925. Now, she does perform her routine very, very well, and she's very clean when she does gymnastics.
Who? Say it again.
Reed from CMU.
Oh, yes.
Yes. She has very pretty gymnastics and very good dance quality. I mean, her routine is beautiful. However, a Rudy to a stag jump and a 1.5 front layout was outdone by very many of the performer or athletes at that competition, even in her own group at CMU. And I felt that was, unfair to some of the athletes, which we're going to talk about a couple in a second. But Abby Brushwood's routine was gorgeous. It was a very good routine, very solid. And it went 9.9. I would have gone 9.925 just as they did with Reed.
Abby Brushwood has been a diamond in the rough, a silent assassin on the floor, if you will, because she was a leadoff in the lineup and they moved her to the end, which is where she needs to be. And that is where she's bringing in bigger scores. She's qualified to regionals on floor. Like, her floor is so good. And she is she's a slight person. She's tiny. She's just boing in those rafters. She's so clean. Like, when I saw her on the list for regionals for floor, I was elated.
The floor scoring, in my opinion, this is my opinion, lots of gifts to many athletes that had very non-solid landings. Kira O'Shea from NIU, I've already mentioned, her full in. She had a very controlled step back, and she also controlled her 1.5 front full. I went back and watched the routine looking for legs, sloppiness, leaps, jumps. I didn't see anything different than I saw some of the other routines. There was a routine that went front double full and took 2 steps and out of bounds, and I believe went 9.775, and Kira O'Shea nailed her routine for a 9.85. There's no separation there for that, and I'm sorry, front double full, 2 steps plus out of bounds. You're not getting a 9.775, which crazily, most of the time in the MAC, probably would have been a 9.5 or a 9.6. But at this competition, it was a 9.775. Just the consistency in the way some of the landings, I thought Western Michigan being first was held to a little tighter standard than CMU was being last. Flip those two, and I'd be interested to see the scoring difference. I just felt like the later you got on floor, the less they were holding deductions to landings as well. I mean, there were steps. There was one, I can't remember what it was, that landed, stepped, and kind of danced off, and that was from Central. Landed, kind of stepped, but tried to control, and then stepped to the side and danced off. Definitely was not in control, and was like a 9.85 or 9.825, something like that. I just felt floor was, all the other events were bunched in. Floor was not as critical in terms of landings as the meet went on, and I think Western got robbed a little bit being up first, and then later on they got a little bit more lenient in terms of what their scores were. So that's just my opinion. Again, I all props to CMU. They held their own, but the thing is, CMU, the only team of the top 4 that counted a fall, and they won.
Well, I thought it was a battleground everywhere else. It was just it was like between the other 3 events and everybody, it just seemed like it was going to be so tight.
Yes. But that's the thing is they won with
everybody
a fall.
Was doing the same things everywhere. Yeah. There were falls, there were wobbles, there were,
But, CMU is the only team in the top 4 that had to count a fall, and they still won. They had to count a fall and beam, and they still won.
That's correct.
Who else fell on beam?
Shannon fell, Samantha fell, and so did Reed.
Fell.
Yeah, Reed did. They both fell. So they had to count a fall on beam, and they still won. That shows how tight the competition was on the other events, that the scores didn't reflect to be able to get the enough 10s to make up for that. And then they just let the scores go on floor. I mean, 9-9s. I think did CMU had 4 9-9s or 3 9-9s, something like that. And again, I just felt some of the other routines were better than they were scored. So that's just my opinion. Congratulations to CMU. I felt, me personally, I felt the most consistent and most, on all 4 events in terms of performances were Western. I thought Western was the best on the floor overall from every single event.
And Western as a lineup is consistent.
Correct.
They have lineups that are
though Eastern did well.
Mm-hmm.
I would still put Eastern second. I don't think I would have flip-flopped.
Yeah.
I would have put Western. Western I felt won that meet overall, but even though the scores obviously didn't show that, but I think floor hurt them because I think they're really good on floor. And I like Cassie's floor, 9875. They did. They did.
Yeah.
And
they
did
well
haven't won beam. Cindy said they haven't won beam all year. That's been their downfall.
Exactly.
They won beam.
And that's the thing is they still were beat by CMU and they counted a fall. Bar dismounts at Max, lots of issues. I think that was one of the biggest problems at MAC championships. There were very few that could land a dismount without taking a step forward or back. And so that definitely played into the closeness of many routines. Congratulations to the MAC Freshman of the Year, and that's Raylan Garvey. Well-deserved. Awesome job from, basically the whole season and getting into the 39s. Unfortunately, she did not make the all-around, which I was hoping she would at regionals, but it was tough this year to make it, especially, coming out of the MAC. But awesome job, and I look forward to obviously what she does next year as a sophomore. And then the specialist of the year, we of course will see at regionals, Ashley Szymanski, because
where she belongs.
She is the best bar worker in the MAC again. So she defended the MAC champion again because she is by far the best bar worker in the MAC conference.
Yeah. And she was ranked first all year on bars.
Form, execution, everything. Biggest takeaway from the MAC championships is that the scoring needs to be better because it's not helping your athletes and teams. And it's sad that no one will represent the MAC as a team at the regional championships. They do have individuals going, of course. So, and we'll again address that on our preview podcast. Moving on to our D2-3 athlete of the week, real fast. Congrats to Paige Magel. From Whitewater. She tied, 6-way tie, by the way, just so you know. I put that in there.
Was it a 6-way tie? Because I only saw in the Facebook post her and like another person.
No, there's 6. There were 6 of them that had the same score. But she was tied for the beam title at the NCAA championships with a 9.85. I will be posting an Alumni Monday, which will not be on Monday. Maybe I'll do it for next Monday. And highlight some of the top 10 routines because we do have quite a few, and let you see some of the routines that happened at the NCGA championships from our alums. But congrats to Paige. She is the national D3 champion on balance beam this year with a 9.85. And again, she's from Whitewater and formerly from Gymnasti, but her club was Gymnastics. Congratulations. I know we always say, talk about her if we see her, Maggie Slife from Air Force. She is our site manager's daughter from Wisconsin, Gymnast of the Year in their conference, which is is that the Mountain West Conference? What is Air Force in? I forget what they're in.
They're in Mountain. I think they're Mountain West.
Mountain West, yeah. Gymnast of the Year. She's on to regionals, representing Air Force in the all-around for the second year. She made it as a freshman as well. So congratulations to Maggie, and we look forward to watching you at regionals. I remember last year your vault was like sensational at regionals. It was awesome to see. So hopefully that Yurchenko 1.5 will be good again this year. Make sure you check out our podcast socials. Of course, our Region 5 College Salute podcast on Instagram. That's where all of our content goes. Our podcast is posted. Pictures. Kim will have some from Big Tens to post very shortly, I'm sure. Region 5 College Salute on YouTube. That's where our video podcast goes. That's where the videos from the NCGA competition, also some other videos from throughout the year, maybe some of our regional champion videos as well. Check that out. And then, of course, Alumni Monday. We'll have one more, and it'll be the NCGA competition. So you'll get to see the top 10, some of the top 10 routines from that championships from our Region 5 alums in the D3 gymnastics arena. So check that out, and make sure you follow R5 College Salute podcast on Instagram and the R5 College Salute on YouTube. All right, let's move on quickly to They Did That.
Or didn't.
And we have some nice commentary quotes. We did have Press to Perfection again.
Yes, we did.
Love the Press to Perfection. Swing to everywhere.
Oh, well, he was swinging everywhere. Adam, we're going to swing to the bars. We're going to swing to the beam. We're going to swing into the commercial. I mean, at least he got that.
Yeah, Aleena liked the swing to the bar one. She did mention that one. She did like that. The back on vault one. Yeah, go ahead. We're
back on vault. Oh, back on vault. We got, well, this one is next one up, of course. What? Sarah,
but you do have
Sarah
to.
Moravansky.
But they did jump a lot, and they were jumping everywhere.
Did you not do you not see what we saw? Like, were you not looking at her when you were saying that, or was it something totally different?
No.
Was on your screen?
If there was any sort of confusion, it's that I was trying to talk back to kind of go what event they should go to. I wanted them to go to Sarah Moravansky. I wanted them to go over there, and so I had to tell them, hey, hop over to vault. Was it vault that you're talking about?
Yeah, because that's when you said that, and she was standing there, so I didn't know.
But I was looking because for vault I have to get up on the perch, so
yes,
I'm not looking at the screen no matter what.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
In my head, I had already thought Sarah Moravansky. That's kind of probably why. But again, I should have said her name.
It was just so funny.
Yeah, it was.
Back on vault, we got. Well, this is the next one. Of course.
It's someone.
It was someone is competing. There's the athlete will be vaulting
vault for sure.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, Sam at SEC said Florida might be on a heater. That was funny. I liked that one. That was funny.
I mean, it gets cold.
Yes, they were on a heater because bars. They were rocking bars. I mean, they had two tens? Yeah, 2 10s on bars in the team. DK Roy was in every team. I mean, she was in every team's lineup. She competed a lot.
It's like that one time that everybody from Utah was from Indianapolis, and everybody from Utah State was from Pennsylvania.
DK Roy
shout out to DK for doing so much.
Yeah, so much gymnastics. She's got to be tired. I'm sure she's in the ice bath. I mean, she's got to be tired. It is Avery Compson and Ashley Szymanski for me at Max. They won the competition for me just on their antics. Ashley Szymanski dancing before beam, just down the mat and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
That's the only time we saw a freaking split screen was to watch Ashley Szymanski dance next to beam.
Yes.
And Allie Shop stand next to Al on the floor.
Yes. 11 perfect 10s at the conference meets this weekend. The SEC, let me just talk about Riley's bars. Gorgeous. Beautiful. It was so good. Leanne's bars, also good. Mara's, handstand.
Mara is part of our
stick and hold.
Mara is part of our Region 5. We want you to be part of Region 5 list.
Yes.
As always.
All very well executed routines. I'm not opposed to any of these 10s at all. I thought they were great. There were a lot of 10s at the SEC championships. UC Davis qualifies for the first time in 11 years, as did Rutgers.
Good for them.
So 2 programs that have not been in regionals for 11 years have qualified to regionals, and we can't get one single MAC team in the NCAA regionals.
That's because UC Davis and Rutgers took their spots.
Okay. Well, maybe they should find scores. Maybe. All right.
Maybe they should. We digress on that.
Yes. So they did
that. You can only beat a horse to death so much on this one.
They did that. Lots of 10s over the course of this weekend. Our regionals, our 5 university lineup, which of course is presented by Full Out Recruiting. Full Out Recruiting, they are focused on helping their clients reach their college gymnastics goals with resources and guidance to athletes, coaches, and parents through the college recruiting process. They go full out to make the experience a fun and productive one. Thank you to Full Out Recruiting for sponsoring the College Salute podcast and your continued support of the Region 5 media platform. As we said, we are headed to Happy Valley. Region 5U is going to Penn State. So that's where we'll be. That's where our lineup will come from. We can choose any score from finals from a team, unless we need to pull a score, but we can use the individualists from the semifinals because that's all they can do. They can only go to semifinals. So we will see what our alums do in Happy Valley and how our Region 5U goes and see if we can move on to nationals. But we will have a preview of our Region 5 alums where we will break down the alums that are competing that we know we'll see or think we'll see based on lineups on Monday. So stay tuned for that. That's all we'll focus on. And then we will give our brackets. Kim and I love to do our brackets and see, how we do. We'll break down our region and each region, and we will tell you who we think is going to move on and then obviously ultimately win the national title. So stay tuned for that. On Monday, we will go through our entire preview of regionals for where our Region 5 alums have landed and will be competing. So stay tuned for that. Week 12, our championship awards. I've already said that Riley McCuster is my non-Region 5 MVP because that routine was absolutely gorgeous. But another routine that was absolutely gorgeous, my MVP, Ava Jordan on bars, because that was the best routine I have seen all year. Handstands, rock that dismount, awesome, and I'm giving it to Ava Jordan.
My MVP? Okay, well, my non-Region 5 MVP is Brooklyn Moores, of course, but my MVP for us, for right here, for right now, is SUKI Pfister, and she is mine. You cannot have her. No, it's not even going under your name. No, it's SUKI Pfister.
Got it. Well, I agree.
We got it. Finally.
Both Indiana athletes this week. Former Indiana athletes. Yeah, they made our list of our MVPs.
Aleena, if you could pick an MVP, whose would yours be?
Oh yeah, I should have.
Alyssa Guns.
All right.
I really think that she deserves it.
Me too. I agree. Okay, well, I have my stick, stay, and slay. I have one.
I'm fine with this one because this one was awesome. But you did mention a stick, stay, and slay. Shannon's her beam dismount. That is Jersey. We already said that. Her bar dismount.
Perfect. Yeah. I know. I just wanted to make sure that it's noted that.
But you said it on someone's beam dismount, and I can't remember whose it was.
She did. She said something. She said stick, slay, and stay, and I was like, Aleena, it's stick, stay, and slay. But thank you for the shout out. I love you.
No, that was good. I know.
But yeah, she did say it. Yeah. But Jersey's. Oh no, She said it on McKenna King's bar routine.
No, it was on beam. It was on beam dismount.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a beam dismount.
Well, McKenna King stuck her bar routine too. Yeah. But anyways. My stick, stay, and slay is Jersey's on bars.
I have one that's not a Region 5 athlete, but Shay Campbell's double front on bars at Big Tens. That one was a stick, stay, and then she always slays because she's...
I only saw her in the air on that. I didn't see her feet
stuck it cold.
I was hoping... I had to peer over the vault corral.
Got it.
I turned around at one point, and I was staring Jenna Olszewski in the face. Because they were right there.
Right there. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, Jersey. We'll go with Jersey because Jersey was a phenomenal routine. Awesome job, and I just like the holy moly. That was my favorite part. So.
Well, you guys know that without
it was good gracious.
Yes, Alyssa Guns, but Jersey.
Yeah.
Jersey. You guys know she's just
Jersey. So.
Yeah. Oh, and you did say Ellie Johnson.
Yes, you did. Yes. And we didn't get to see her Ray, though, and we didn't go back and get to see it. Unfortunately, that was one that you didn't say look back on. I wanted to see that routine. I was like, ask for a replay, because we see her bail through the double layout, and so we didn't get to see her ray. But
just assume that
her bail looked nice, so the ray was probably good.
But she probably did ask for a replay.
Just assume that I may have asked for a replay.
And it didn't happen.
Well, again, like I said,
her talkback buttons were broken and discombobulated.
Yes.
Just like I told you before, it's hard, and it's hard for everybody. Not just the people commentating. It's hard for everybody. That's a lot of teams.
This is why I missed Kim so much on Saturday, because I'm telling you. And like, if we haven't mentioned it, it was a fight. We wanted Kim there. Kim would have been my saving grace. And I know that in that moment, I wouldn't have been as more so rotation one, like as much scrambled. I could have handled the back. She could have handled what was going on in the moment. And then we could have really.
And I could be on the floor walking around with the headset going, go to floor. Onto floor and give the name.
We could have done this whole.
I could be the floor manager. I could be the floor manager with a headset saying, "Over to bars, go to bars."
As long as he doesn't have
bars.
On air, he's fine.
Yeah.
That was me though.
Split screen over to vault. Go to vault.
Like I said, after they hit a series on beam, I was like, okay, because I wanted to see the series and I really wanted to see the dismount. And I care about leaps, jumps, and turns probably more than anybody. Kim, I'm sure you can agree, but I want to see it.
Maybe we should bring that up. I'll be the headset guy on the floor.
Oh my God. And then
floor
you could
manager
have,
telling you.
You could have like orange cones that you're just like, over there. Over there.
No,
Alina, that's what you needed up in your closet, orange cones. So
there you go.
You like, go that way.
Let me comment too. You were talking about Central, and I was listening very in depth. I want to give them a shout out for their bar lineup this year. Wow.
No.
They have done, they really bar wise. And I'll tell you this, a couple of years ago, Lexi Flunk, now she's over at Pitt. She's doing a great job. However, and she did a great job with them too. I always gave her flowers when it was time because she did a phenomenal job. You really see the peak this year, I think, with that. And then you see, of course, we talk about George all the time. I can talk about him for 7 hours. Don't get me started. But he really put his heart and soul, as he always does, into that bar lineup. And you can just kind of see it. But yeah, I just want to brag on that for a second because it's looked phenomenal all year.
Yeah, their bars are good. Although we also didn't see Leah Kamichik's routine into her double layout either. So there were a couple bar routines we did miss of CMU that, of course I would say, oh, we're going to replay that one.
That were key bar routines.
Yes, but we did get to see a lot of replays, so I'm not going to pick on you. So
yeah, no,
she did a good job.
She did. You did a great job.
Yeah,
it was
good
great.
job. So
it was good.
Well, that wraps up week 12, championship week. And if we thought 2 days of championships was a lot of gymnastics, we get to go Wednesday to Sunday coming up in 2 weeks. It's fun. Play-ins, semifinals, finals, 4 regionals. It's going to be a mess. But we're going to love it, and we're going to follow it, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to come back and talk about it. So look forward to our preview for our regionals coming Monday. And then, of course, the week after regionals, we'll be back for our highlights for regional weekend here on the College Salute Podcast.
We know you enjoy our podcast, because why not? And want more people to find out how awesome it is, because it is. So please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the Region 5 Insider Podcast. Thanks again to Full Out Recruiting for your continued support, as well as all of our listeners. We could not do this without you. Follow us on all of our social media accounts for the most up-to-date information on what's going on with our Region 5 alums all season long.
And again, thanks to Aleena for joining us here and giving us our insights to MAC championships. And feel free to join us again for regionals if you want, after regionals. We'd love to have you. And thanks again for you guys for listening, our listeners joining us for our championships recap. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and start watching and listening to us and enjoying our wonderful antics that we do have on our show. And of course, follow our IG page to keep support for our alums going all season long. We will be back again, like I said, on Monday for our regional preview, leading into our long week of college gymnastics as we continue our spine-saving coverage of our Region 5 alums. Talk to you Monday. Follow, like, and subscribe. Peace out for Region 5.
5-5.